Hello and welcome to this revisit of Jim Beam Choice. The reason for this is I'm not going to see this again. It was discontinued in 2017. I'm assuming I won't see it again. It might still be coming out till 2022, but I think what probably happened is they decided in 2012 to discontinue it, and they finished their last barreling in 2017. But the current version, Jim Beam Choice, which was removed from their website in 2017, is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey aged 5 years, charcoal filtered. None of their bourbons are charcoal filtered anymore, and 80 proof. When it originally hit the market in 1957, it was 90 proof and aged 8 years, but as with so many modern liquor brands, they get lowered, cut back on aging, I guess to cut cost, I don't know, or make it milder for the mass market. This was usually sold as a gift item. In special decanters. I noticed they had, like, if you look at the old advertisements from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they had a special nature painting series. A lot of prints from famous nature artists, things like that, and collectible. Like each decanter every year was a separate design. It was collectible, and so maybe there are people that do that these days. I bought this bottle for $14.99 in Frankfort, Kentucky. I bought a second bottle to give to my friend David Garlapede, who was totally enthralled by this. He said it was so, in his opinion, so much better than the standard Jim Beam. I thought it was better. I don't know about substantially better, but it is different being charcoal filtered and after barrel aging. They claimed in the 50s that it was better to charcoal filter it after it came out the barrel, unlike some other brands. If you read the old ads, they're kind of throwing shade at Jack Daniels, which is charcoal filtered before it goes in the barrel, and Beam was claiming that was better. I don't know which is better, but anyway, I was glad I found the bottle, the two bottles, and they told me last year when I sent them an email, they said it has been discontinued, and the lady said if you see it, you better buy it because you're not going to see it again more than likely. So, and she was right, because I've never seen it in a store since I found it. Beautiful burnished gold, nice alcohol legs, maybe even a chestnut appearance, amber. So I'm finishing off another session of this, maybe in about 4 days. It's very rich in the nose. Fruity, like the candied cake fruit, you know, those dried fruits, and maybe some honeysuckle, some yellow tobacco, Levi Garrett type thing. Nut oil, perhaps, nut shell, like pecan shell, walnut shell. So it's really nice coming out that barrel after 5 years and then being charcoal filtered. So the appearance is wonderful, and the aroma is wonderful, and the taste. And I did taste challenges with this, and it really shined forth. I think that's going to be wonderful too. I mean, I've been drinking the bottle, you know, drinking it down, so. I still intend to do bourbons from time to time. I've remarked that I don't care for them because of that strong yellow corn grits presentation that they give, which is sort of a turnoff to me. Me. Doesn't mean bourbon is bad. But certain people just don't have a taste for things, right? So I do prefer the Scotch whiskey and the Canadian blended whiskey, even the American blended whiskey brands, more than the bourbon overall. But not to disparage the quality of any of those, really. I think after I drink down my current stash, which will probably take about a year, 8 months to a year, then I'll bring in a bourbon every now and then. Maker's Mark, for instance, Woodford Reserve, Old Charter, Old Forester, things like that. So, because you don't want to get away from it totally. I never said I hated it. I said it wasn't for me. But I do like to revisit the style occasionally. Okay, so that's the plan. Nice alcohol lacing, or alcohol legs, I mean to say. Beer has lacing, alcohol has legs, you know. So, yeah, you get the corn grits. You're going to get that. It's bourbon. It's mostly corn. So, I mean, that's what that is. The dried fruitcake fruit, you get this clean. My friend was talking about that. He said it's so clean. It's so. What did he say? He said that the impurities are filtered out so wonderfully, you know, with that charcoal filtering. And he was talking about that with beer. He does mass-produce beer reviews with me oftentimes, and he will make good remarks towards almost all of them. But he said he found that the Schlitz VSL, the very smooth lager, Gold Bull as they call it, Gold Bull 8.5%, Imperial Lager, he said he found that was much better than the average because of the charcoal filtering. I can't disagree with that. Apparently that's an expensive thing, and so it's not really done much anymore. I guess most consumers don't really notice or care. Doesn't seem to have made much difference in the Jim Beam world. I mean, wasn't like Jim Beam Choice was a big player anymore. When it first came out in 1957, by the way, it was called Beam's Choice. Then it was renamed at some point Jim Beam Choice. It's just a thoroughly enjoyable product. I mean, now to say what's wrong with it, I can't say anything's wrong with it. I can say, me personally, I don't like certain aspects about bourbon. That's kind of irrelevant to the quality of the product. The personal preference should, to a large extent, if not totally, if possible, be factored out, I think, when you're reviewing beer, wine, and liquor. But because the way I look at it, it's not you're saying this is what I like. You're saying, is it a quality product or is it not a quality product? Regardless of your personal preference. And that's hard to do, but it's not impossible to do. So aside from personal preference, I think it is quite a high quality product. I would like to try the Jim Beam Bonded, the Black, and so many others. So I think I'll bring those into play very slowly, God willing, over time. So would I recommend this? Without any reservation, I would recommend it. I would not hesitate if I saw it. And if you do hesitate, you probably won't see it again. So yeah, it's just a great product. Unfortunately, it only stayed on the market 60 years, but alas, these things happen, you see. Not to mention, I would like to try all the Jack Daniels variants, the Frank Sinatra series, and all the Christmas specials. And I mean, obviously there's too much, you can't cover it all, but it's fun to just get little pinpricks of what's out there. That's about all you can do. So thanks for watching this video production, and I'd be curious to see what you think about Jim Beam Choice. Straight bourbon whiskey from Kentucky.